Hello once again, and Tony here with a review of the sequel to The Little Drummer Boy, known as The Little Drummer Boy Book 2, which had its premiere on NBC on December 13th, 1976. Returning as the directors of this film were, of course, Jules Bass and Arthur Rankin Jr. Returning as the narrator for this film was the great Greer Garson, and it also starred the voices of David J. as Aaron, since Teddy Eccles already went through puberty and was already 21 at the time, so he was then replaced by David J. And then we also have the talents of Zero Mostel, Bob McFadden as Melchior, replacing Paul Frees, Ray Owens, Alan Swift, and Tom Bosley. Now, I had no idea that there was a sequel to this film because, well, to be frank, I felt like the original Little Drummer Boy was already good enough on its own. But I had to keep my expectations low, as I also heard that some people say that, okay, this film wasn't as great or as that poignant as the original. Well, as soon as I watched it, I kind of have to agree. It wasn't as poignant as the original, but it's still a good sequel in its own way. Not as great, but it's good. So let's get on to what I thought about the story, the animation, the music, the characters, and the acting. Well, voice acting in this case. So the story continues where we left off in the original film, with Aaron playing on his drum and finally realizing that what more can he give to baby Jesus? And of course, Melchior states that, well, there is that legendary silver bell as, well, procured by this person by the name of Simeon, who states that the Messiah is coming, but people don't believe him. He is then attacked by Roman soldiers who want the taxes, and it's quite a wild goose chase. But, despite that, it's still a very good sequel. It's a good continuation to the original, even though I would have been more content with just the original and just called it a day. But as it is, it's still pretty good. It's not that great, but it's good. The animation did take a step up from the original, though. It looks more fluid, it looks a lot more defined, it looks a little bit more detailed, and it's still pretty good. It still has that trademark Rankin-Bass stop-motion animation, and it's still very great all around. The designs especially have improved, and what more can you say about it? It's been 8 years since there was a sequel released, and it really showed itself very well in terms of its style. The music is still very good. I also liked the villain song of Brutus, accompanied by Plato, known as Money, Money. I enjoyed it. It's quite fun, and I also love the Do You Hear What I Hear song at the climax. It was still very excellent. The songs and the music are still very well done all throughout, and, well, it's another great thing that kind of made the sequel just really great on its own. Then we get to the characters. Aaron, well, he developed pretty well from the original. And then in this installment, he is shown to be a lot kinder, a lot more helpful, and this time a lot more resourceful as well. He really did improve since his original characterization, and it was just very much excellent. And then we get Simeon, who's a very good character, and it's also very entertaining and very much a great supporter to Aaron and Melchior on their journey. And then we get Brutus. Now, even though Ben Haramad and Ali can be quite slimy, well, Brutus is he has a lot more bravado and has a lot more machismo to really go with his persona, with that type of bully-like persona. And even his accomplice Plato, he does play himself really well. They really play each other well. And when it comes to their opposites, they really have great chemistry. So that's pretty much the gist of their characterizations. And then we get Melchior, who serves as the mentor in this film. Very excellently done, and I thought his character was very great. The voice acting is just as superb, with Greer Garson returning on the helm as the narrator. But like I said before, ever since Teddy Eccles was 21 in this film, he could no longer voice the titular character. He was then replaced by David J. I thought that David J. did a pretty good job with his role. I thought he was an okay replacement, but no one could top Teddy Eccles' delivery. With Bob McFadden as Melchior, he was actually very good in his role. And then we get Alan Swift as Simeon and the other soldiers. He gave a very wonderful portrayal of Simeon, and he was just excellent in his characterization. With Zero Mostel, whom a lot of people who've watched The Electric Company know him as Spellbinder, he was delightful as the main villain Brutus. So overall, while the sequel is not that great or poignant or grand as the original, it's still a very good watch. It's a decent continuation as to what happened to Aaron and the crew, and it's still an okay sequel to watch. But I really have to say that the original definitely beats it by a landmile. So with that said, I give the sequel a 3.5 out of 5. It's still a very worthwhile sequel. It may not have the gravity of the original, but it's still quite good on its own. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to tune in later where I review a classical concert which will be shown at the St. Anna's Church. So until then, see you later, everybody.